Hi everyone, welcome to Learn English with Miss. And in today's lesson, we are going to learn about compare and contrast and how to tackle that on the NJSLA. And so let's begin this review. We will be covering a few different things today. You are going to read two passages. You are going to answer mastery questions and you are going to build stamina. You're going to carefully read passage A and then passage B. You're going to work through three types of questions: multiple response, multiple choice, and open-ended using the race strategy. And then we are going to learn how to focus on timing and use the NJSLA split screen interface. So let's get started. Compare and contrast. Read both passages. Read each passage carefully. Think about how the settings, characters, and themes are similar and different as you read. Passage A, The Urban Garden. Topic 1, Community Growth. Elias wiped the soot from his forehead as he planted the last tomato seedling in the vacant lot. Around him, the gray concrete of the city felt a little less cold. Neighbors began to lean out their windows, watching the green life take root where trash once piled high. It wasn't just about food, it was about reclaiming the earth. Here is passage B, The Digital Forest. The topic is technological progress. Sarah adjusted her VR headset, watching the pixelated leaves of the Neo-Amazon rustle in the simulated wind. She could feel the haptic feedback in her gloves as she touched a bark that didn't exist. Outside her window, the city was a grid of steel, but here she could grow an entire ecosystem with a line of code. Here is a test tip. Reading two passages side by side mirrors the NJSLA split screen interface. Practice this format to build testing stamina. Passage A, Closer Look. The Urban Garden Key Details. Setting, a physical, real-world vacant lot in a gray urban city. The environment is transformed through human hands and labor. Character, Elias, a community-minded individual who takes action in the real world, working with soil and seeds to bring life to neglected space. The central idea of that passage: community, physical reclamation of nature, and belonging. Growth here is biological, tangible, and shared with neighbors. Passage B, here's a closer look. The digital forest. Key details. The setting. It is a virtual reality environment called the Neo-Amazon. The world outside is a cold grid of steel. Nature exists only in digital simulation. Character is Sarah, a tech-savvy individual who creates her own version of nature through code, experiencing sensation through haptic gloves and a VR headset. Central idea: technological innovation and digital creation of nature. Growth here is artificial, solitary, and coded, but emotionally real to Sarah. Passages side by side. How do they compare? Passage A is the urban garden. The setting is a physical vacant lot in a city. Passage B is the digital forest. The setting is a virtual reality Neo-Amazon. The character is Elias, community driven. The character in the digital forest is Sarah, technology driven. The growth is biological and hands on in the urban garden. The growth is artificial and code based in the digital forest. The theme is a desire to connect with nature in the urban garden. And the theme is a desire to connect with nature in the digital forest. Both passages share the theme of seeking nature in an urban world, but Elias and Sarah pursue that connection in fundamentally different ways. Select all that apply. This is a multiple response question. How do the settings in passage A and B fundamentally differ? Choose every answer that is correct. There may be more than one. A. Passage A takes place in a physical location while passage B is virtual. B. Passage A focuses on community effort while passage B is a solitary experience. C. Both passages take place in a futuristic dystopian society. And D. Passage A emphasizes biological growth while passage B emphasizes artificial creation. E. Both characters are attempting to escape their city environments. Now, let's look at the correct answers and then let's go through the explanations one by one. A, B, and D are correct. Great job if you selected those. A, one setting is physical, the other is virtual. This is the most fundamental difference. B, Elias works alongside neighbors, Sarah works alone in VR. And D, Elias grows real plants and Sarah codes a simulated ecosystem. Why C and E are wrong. Neither passage is explicitly dystopian and neither character is escaping. They are creating and reclaiming. So keep that in mind and let's move on. Question 2. What shared theme connects both passages? What is a shared theme between the urban garden and the digital forest? Choose the single best answer. Is it A, the danger of relying too heavily on modern technology? Is it B, the human desire to connect with nature despite an urban environment? Is it C, the importance of hard physical labor in achieving success? Or is it D, the inevitable destruction of the natural world by city expansion? Now, even though you found the correct answer, which is B, which is a great job that you did, you still need to read all the answer choices. That is a very important test-taking technique. Why B is correct? Both Elias and Sarah live in gray, concrete cities, yet both seek out green life. Elias plants in the dirt. Sarah codes a forest. The desire to connect with nature is universal in both texts, regardless of method. So keep that in mind and let's keep going. Open-ended race strategy. R, restate the question or repeat the question as a claim. C, cite textual evidence. A, answer all parts of the question. And E, explain text evidence. So that's RACE. I mixed up the order for you to kind of think about how you can mix up the parts in your answer, but also stick to race in the order that it's given so that it helps you to answer the questions better. Compare the internal motivations of Elias and Sarah. Compare and contrast the internal motivations of Elias and Sarah. Use evidence from both texts to support your answer. R, repeat or restate the question as a claim. Let's review this again together. A, answer and give a direct comparison statement while answering all parts of the question. C, cite textual evidence, quote or paraphrase the text. A, and then cite more evidence, support with evidence from text B. And E, explain. Analyze how evidence shows motivations. Use the RACE framework to structure every open-ended response. Each step builds on the last to create a complete evidence-based answer. Now, because this is a passage with two possible compare and contrast, you are going to take evidence from passage A and then passage B. So keep that in mind in the cite textual evidence section. Let's keep going. The race model answer breakdown, building the perfect response. Restate and answer. While both characters seek a connection to nature, Elias is motivated by physical reclamation, whereas Sarah is motivated by digital innovation. Their goals are similar, but their methods reflect very different approaches to the same problem. Cite passage A. In the urban garden, Elias plants a vacant lot. He plants in a vacant lot because he wants to reclaim the earth, suggesting a desire to restore what has been lost in the physical world around him and his community. And then cite passage B. In the digital forest, Sarah seeks to grow an ecosystem with a line of code because the real world is nothing but a grid of steel, showing she turns to technology when the natural world is unavailable. And E. Explain. Explain. This contrast shows that while both characters share a universal human need to connect with nature, their methods reflect the environments and tools available to them. One rooted in soil, the other in software. And that's how you use race to answer the open-ended response, by comparing both and contrasting both passages. And here's a level 4 test-taking strategy. Pro tips for NJSLA compare and contrast questions. Use the split screen. On the NJSLA, passages appear side by side. Practice reading across 2 columns to build testing stamina and improve your ability to compare text quickly. Annotate as you read. Mark similarities with one symbol and differences with another. Look for setting, character motivation, tone, and theme as you annotate both passages. And always use race. For every open-ended question, structure your response with restate, cite, explain. And remember, answer all parts of the question. This framework earns you full points every single time. So keep on rocking it. And always take away these key points. As you take your NJSLA test, remember the following. 2 texts, 1 theme. Both passages explore the human desire to connect with nature in an urban world through soil or through code. Spot the differences. Settings differ, physical and virtual. So think about those differences. Characters differ, community versus solitary, and methods differ, biological versus artificial. Race every time. Restate the question. Cite textual evidence. Answer all parts of the question. Explain text evidence and never skip a step. Multi-select strategy. For select all questions, evaluate each answer choice independently. Don't stop after finding one correct answer. There are usually 2 or 3. And you've got this. Practice reading paired passages regularly. Annotate as you go. And always structure your written responses using race. And good luck on your NJSLA assessment. I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching and learning with me. Bye-bye.